Open our third year, chapter 13, building up. The mood is somber as you arrive at the diagnostics office for the morning check-in. Even Tobias' usual charming grin looks a little forced. So look who's back on the throne again. I never expected my coup to be so successful. Tobias, that's not funny. He grins awkwardly as he tries to play it off and sighs, his shoulders slumping. Trying to lighten the mood, I guess. Just stunned. Malpractice suit against Ethan? Never thought I'd see the day. If you ask me, we need to stay positive. Brooding won't help Ethan or our patients. Besides, I'm sure it'll all be cleared up soon. I wish I had your optimism, but not every malpractice suit gets cleared up. Still, Casey has a point. Worrying won't help anything, and it will fracture our focus. Yeah, Ethan aside, we still have a job to do. We should probably get down to it, and on that note... Andrew and Harper a thick folder, crammed with multiple patient files. How many patients are we taking on here? What's going on? There's been a cluster of unidentified illnesses at a local high school. Better yet, they're only affecting the wrestling team. That is odd. They all have the same symptoms? More or less. Take a look, you'll see what I mean. You look through the different patient files and see that all of them are suffering from various degrees of weakness, nausea, and short of breath. Wait, some of them are experiencing hallucinations? Ah, that was my favorite one too. And before you ask, their meats aren't in exotic tropical locales, so parasites are highly unlikely. Common pathogens have been ruled out. In fact, so far, no one has an idea what could be causing this. How strange. Could it be some sort of mass hysteria? It's possible. But if that were the case, you'd be expecting at least a couple of the non-teammates to show symptoms, don't you think? Possibly. I guess it could depend on how insular their team culture is. Even if some of the cases are psychosomatic, something had to kick it off. Either way, we need to investigate further. Well, you have my vote. This case sounds fascinating. I agree. Good find, Tobias. Glad you're on board, because we need to get started right away before Bloom changes his mind, forces that autoimmune case on us. He's still pushing for that? Yeah, and hard, which is why our best move is to find a solve on this fast. Is there something you're not telling us? Nothing major, but I may have insinuated a big solve like this could be a PR win for the hospital. Bloom is many things, but unfortunately stupid is not one of them, and if we don't deliver on that promise, he won't be happy. I guess we should get started. Agreed. Since we're down to a person, we'll need to split up the work a little more efficiently. I got my rounds to finish. Harper's got a surgery this morning. Casey, think you could handle the patient interviews by yourself? Really? Wow. So basically the whole entire diagnostics case is on us. Or me. No problem. I'll report back once I have more info. With a quick nod, Harper and Tobias hurry out, leaving you alone in the office, painfully aware of the team member who isn't here to help unravel this mystery. You arrive in the first patient's room, where you find a young man lying in a bed, looking somewhat impatient. Brett Hilliard? I'm Dr. Valentine. Do you have a minute to talk with me? I don't think he's going anywhere. But before he can reply, the door opens, and Binks rolls in with a large tray of food. Bzzzt. Requested additional meal delivery complete. Have a pleasant meal. Again. If I wasn't convinced you were sick before, I am now. Enjoying hospital food enough to ask for more points to serious issues. Yeah, I've been starving lately. My dad's an absolute terrible kid. Don't tell him. But, it's a serious improvement. Oh, don't worry. Doctor-patient confidentiality means your secret is safe with me. May I ask, when you started feeling so hungry? A week ago, maybe. I had to make weight before our first tournament, but then I got sick. I'm on a serious hunger backlog at this point. You, have a tournament coming up? Not anymore. First one of the season was set for Saturday, but by Friday I was too dizzy to stand up straight, let alone manage a solid hold. How are you feeling now? A little weak, still dizzy if I stand up too fast, but I don't have that constant, I don't know, beat up feeling that I had. So that's better. I guess that means whatever medicine you've got me on is doing the job, huh? You check his chart, frowning. We haven't started any treatments yet. Only a saline drip. Why is he feeling so much better? I mean, he's not feeling so much better, but most likely because of saline drip, he was dehydrated. Brett, tell me, do you and your teammates hang out together outside of school? For example, do you have any a favorite diner you visit often? Or maybe hang out at each other's houses? Occasionally we have a team dinners after matches and stuff, but that's about it. Don't get me wrong, we're all bros, but between our classes and practice, we're already seeing a ton of each other. That makes external environmental causes or infections unlikely. Alright, that's all the questions I have for now. Someone will be by soon to take a few samples. Sounds good, but if you see that little robot dude, could you get him to send in another tray? I could eat like 5 more quesadillas. I'll see what I can do. You move on to the next patient from the wrestling team. Also, why did Binks, have a weird, here is your meal, again! He's clearly in much worse condition than Brad, lying immobile on his bed, looking pale and a bit clammy. Binks is already in the room, cleaning up a puddle of vomit? Clearly his symptoms are matching up with Brad's recently. Miguel, I'm Dr. Valentine. I'm here to ask you a few questions. Can you manage? Yeah, I think so. Sorry, I'm just not feeling well. Suddenly leans over the bed, grabs a waste basket, and starts retching into it, though nothing comes up. Thank you for using the appropriate receptacle. Frowning, you notice his untouched food tray. Is there something else I can bring you to eat? Your teammate Brad has been enjoying the food, so it can't be that bad. Oh, he's eating this stuff? Jeez, I never knew he had such an iron stomach. Beep. We apologize for your unsatisfactory patient experience. How long has your nausea been bothering you, Miguel? Since I got sick, really. Pretty much first. Just thought the food right now makes me want to hurl. He shudders slightly, swallowing hard. I'll take some samples quickly, and then you can try to get some rest. Thanks, Dr. Valentine. And you take the food tray with you? The smell is, Food tray removal in progress. The next 3 patients are even more puzzling. One claims to be feeling better. One is too confused to even answer your questions. And one tells you his symptoms haven't changed at all since he first started feeling sick. So we've got 2 feeling good, the rest are all getting sick or sicker. You head in the doctor's lounge to grab an apple, lost in thought when you know Sienna waving at you from her table. Hey Casey, how are things going? In circles, honestly. You quickly fill Sienna in on the details, particularly the unusual restriction to the team members and their unusual mix of condition. The blood tests have ruled out drugs, parasites, and if it were an infectious disease, it would have spread beyond the team. Why is it just the wrestlers, but not the whole team? And why are some of them recovering faster while others are getting worse? That is a mystery. Do you have any ideas at all? I'm still totally stumped on why their symptoms are all progressing differently. I need to know what's causing it to solve the case. As for the source of it, it could be food poisoning, something environmental, alien gamma rays from the planet Zarkon. Not food poisoning. Because we've already linked that they don't all eat at the same place. Something environmental. I'm thinking there might be mold in the locker room, shower, or maybe even something in the air vents in the gym. Maybe, but wouldn't the other sports teams be using those spaces too? Ah, she has a point. In which case they'd be getting sick as well. So much for that theory. You're still might be onto something. Maybe the mold's at some sort of the secret team hangout spot. Awesome. Now I just have to convince them to tell me where the super secret team treehouse is and what the password is. Don't worry, Casey. You'll figure it out. You always do. She smiles and returns to work, leaving you to munch your apple in thoughtful silence. You're on your way back to the lab to see if you got any answers when you overhear some nurses whispering in the corner. A familiar name snagged your attention. Sounds like Dr. Ramsey's not as perfect as everyone thinks, huh? Screwing up a standard tracheotomy that way? Frankly, I'm surprised it took the patient this long to sue. I heard from Marlene the patient wouldn't even needed a trach if they hadn't dosed her wrong in the first place. Seriously, that's next level. Poor Ethan. Bad enough he's dealing with malpractice suit, but to have the entire hospital gossiping about him? Troubled, you pull out your phone and shoot Ethan a quick text, asking how he's holding up. You wait and wait and wait, because you could be doing your job instead of texting on it. No answer. That's not like him. I have some free time while I wait for the lab results, and I'm guessing Ethan could really use a friend right now. A little while later, you knock on Ethan's door. When he opens it, you immediately notice how tired and troubled he looks. Casey, what are you doing here? You weren't answering your phone. I just wanted to check that you were okay. He chuckles at that, but there's no mirth or happiness in it. He opens the door wider and leans against the door jamb. Okay, is a relative term, but I'm still here, so I suppose I'm doing as well as can be expected. Sorry for not responding, by the way. I got your message, but this whole thing is too complicated for texting medium. Sounds like you should explain it in person. And how fortuitous. Here I am at your door. Could it be fate? You're not very subtle, Casey, you know that? The smile lingers on his lips for just a moment, and then he sighs heavily. I don't want to burden you with all this. You have patients to focus on. You don't want the stink of my malpractice suit rubbing off on you. I thought me showing up here was a pretty clear sign that I want to support you. What happened, Ethan? I want to help, but I can't if you won't let me. You look expectantly at him for a few moments until he finally shrugs wearily. It all happened so long ago, back when I was still in residency. She should have been fine, but then... The dude was in residency? Nani? I want to say statute of limitations, but she's only suing for financial compensation, so... Wait, when you were in residency and she's suing now? Why? I'm not sure, but the case is in question complicated, to say the least. And I'm not the only one involved in it. Who else is involved? I don't know if I should say. I can't remember the last time I've seen him so troubled. There's more to the story. I suppose Leland Bloom might end up getting his way after all, though no effort of his own, of course. Interesting. He gives another mirthless chuckle, but the look of pain that crosses his face says it all. Big enough you should head back before someone misses you. I'd hate for you to wind up as collateral damage on all this. I'm not worried about me. He needs someone to talk to about this. It's eating away at him, I can tell. Plays Ethan to learn more about what happened so many years ago and help him. No, he's not alone. Yeah, wouldn't mind. Believe me, I know how hard it is to carry something like this around, and I know how much it helps to talk about it with friends. For a long moment, he holds your gaze, and then nods slowly. I suppose you would know that better than anyone, wouldn't you? To your relief, he steps back from the door and beckons you inside, closing the door behind you and gesturing for you over to the couch. It all happened so long ago. Now playing as Ethan Ramsey. We're gonna start chelation therapy, which should help with the symptoms. And I should get better after that. Good as new. You can't imagine how good that is to hear. Thank you so much. It's a team effort, I assure you. Get some rest, chelation. We'll start soon. You head off to the next patient on your rounds, but soon you're interrupted by Annika Grover. The diagnostics team patient. She's coding, but she was recovering. Dropping your charts, you spin on your heel and rush to the patient's room. You arrive to find Naveen already at work on the patient, brow furrowed as he checks her crashing vitals.
Nurse, where's that damn emergency trach kit?
I'm getting it right now, Doctor. She hurries past you as you come into the room, joining Naveen at Anika's side. What's the situation?
She's gone into anaphylaxis. We need to trach her now.
Trach kit stat. You're doing a tracheotomy. Is that a good idea?
If you have any other bright ideas for opening her throat, Ethan, feel free to share them.
I don't, but do you want me to handle the trach?
I've got it. Just stand back and keep an eye on her vitals.
Dr. Banerjee, I have the trach kit right here. Naveen grabs your tools and makes a first incision, almost too quickly for you to see. Brusquely, he inserts a tube, and you watch and notice. Naveen, watch the larynx! You see a cloud pass over his face as you both realize at the same time that he's nicked her voice box slightly.
It's minor. Anyway, I doubt Anika will mind a little change in her voice if the alternative is death.
Naveen, you're right. Good job. I'm not sure I would have been able to react that quickly. You saved her life. Naveen glances at his hand, hovering over the patient's open throat.
Still, it could have been a bit cleaner. But she's breathing now, and that's what's important, right?
Exactly. So how the hell are we being malpracticed? We didn't touch her! No, that's not how this works! At all. You would be called in as a witness, but no, you would not be involved. At last, the patient is stabilized and breathing, her chest rising and falling as air makes it into her lungs. Naveen turns to you and the nurses assembled in the room.
Now that we're past this crisis, you wouldn't mind telling me what the hell happened? She was stable this morning. We had a solve here.
Nurses look as mystified as you. Take a quick look over Nika's chart, and then your eyes go wide as you read through the first few entries. Wait. Who started her on, voriconazole?
Well, I did. We determined it was Aspergillus poisoning. That's the most effective treatment. Were you sleeping at that meeting, Ethan, or did Dr. Emery got you that distracted that you don't remember it?
Your stomach sinks as you raise your eyes to Naveen's. She's been on high doses of NSAIDs almost since she came in, Naveen. Uh-oh. So basically... yeah... The blood drains from his face as he looks at you.
What?
I was treating the inflammation and trying to ease her symptoms while we worked towards a diagnosis. Remember? If she got a dose of NSAIDs and voriconazole at the same time, that's what caused the anaphylaxis and an inability to breathe.
The interaction might have caused her to code.
The two of you stand over her unconscious form, Naveen looking over the charts as a sick, horrified look crosses his face.
She could have died.
I know, and it should have never happened. Even a first-year med student should have known the drugs were contradictory. He sighs heavily.
You're absolutely right. This was completely preventable.
Naveen looks down at the patient, his expression taut with stunned horror. You square your shoulders, clenching your hands into fists, making a decision. I was the one who put her on the NSAIDs, without mentioning it to the team, meaning, this is my mistake, I'll sign the chart. Naveen doesn't seem to hear you, staring at Anika with a dazed, shaken expression. Finally turns to the nurse.
Make sure the patient is stable and page me if anything changes. I'm heading home for the rest of the day.
The nurse nods, glancing at you with a worried air before rushing to the patient's side. You stand there numbly, still a little in shock. Naveen takes a deep breath and comes over to you, face serious and full of meaning.
Ethan, I promise I'll deal with this. Now.
Naveen nods at you briefly, then goes out the door, leaving you in the room, still looking at the unconscious patient.
Marlene?
Yes, Dr. Ramsey.
Hand me that chart, would you?
Let's go over it one last time. Take a deep breath and put your name on the line. The only thing you can think of is to make this right. Ah, so that's why you're being sued. Never mind. You've signed off on the chart. Oof. Ethan sighs, turning you as he finishes the story. Anika Grover recovered quickly after that and was discharged. So you understand now? Actually, no. How did this come up now? It's been more than a decade. What would have suddenly made her want to pursue this? I've asked myself the same thing. Perhaps her injuries have become more difficult to manage. Though it seems unlikely given their nature. Maybe she simply felt curious and spent a few hours on the internet. Well, that and Bloom and all the money. I suppose we'll get her answer in court. Do you really think this will go that far? At this point, I think it's almost unavoidable. For now, there's nothing more to do or to say about the matter. I don't understand why you wouldn't ask Naveen to... Just leave Naveen out of this. Okay. Sorry, what I mean is, he was an amazing mentor to me then and afterwards. He's the absolute best in his field. He doesn't deserve for this to damage his reputation. Certainly not now. I didn't act the way I should have back then, and now I'm paying for it, and that's all there is to it. If you say so. Sorry if you feel like I was prying. Actually, I'm grateful you came over. I've been a bit in my own head about this. Being able to talk about it with you helped more than you might realize. He smiles softly at you, and you can see the pain hasn't left his eyes yet. You know what you need? A kiss. Ethan smiles at that, a warm, gentle smile that seems to melt away the hesitation of the past half hour. I'll be honest, I'd be hoping that's why you came over in the first place. Sorry for making you wait. Reaching out to gently take your chin at his fingers, Ethan tilts your face up to him and leans down to kiss you sweetly and softly. You kiss him back, slipping your hands up his chest, over his shoulders, and around his neck to pull him closer to your waiting lips, savoring his breath. Then, the switch seems to flip. His kisses grow more hungry, almost desperate. God, Casey, I want you so badly. Before you can reply, his lips are on you again, and you almost lose yourself in the sweet, intoxicating taste and feel of his mouth. Arching up into him, you wrap your arms around him, and you give him one last sensual kiss, or reluctantly pulling away. Can we hold that thought? I should probably get back. Laughing, Ethan reluctantly pulls away, eyes lingering on you. You were right. About? That was exactly what I needed. He pulls you in for one last tender kiss and then walks you to the door, watching as you walk down the hallway, leaving him alone. By the time you made it back to the hospital, your worry returns. I know what happened, but I still think there's something Ethan's holding back. I guess I'll have to wait and see how things play out. That or you go talk to Naveen. Later, you check on your patients again on your way to get your lab results. So am I gonna get discharged soon? Whatever you're doing, I'm feeling so much better. Really? We still haven't started you on any treatments. Well, then maybe I'm getting better by myself. I mean, I'm not totally back to normal yet, but something's definitely different. I guess that's good news. I wonder if the other patients are improving too. Probably not. You have to go to Gel's room next. Hopeful that he's also improving, but if anything, he looks worse. A touch of jaundice showing around his eyes. Dr. Valentine, I can't hold anything down. I think the birds are why. They're trying to get it out of me. What do you mean, Miguel? There was a bird in here a minute ago. I swear there was. Where is it? Where did it go? He wasn't hallucinating before, and his vitals look worse than when he came in. And you should never be getting worse in a hospital unless it's the medicine they're giving you. You visit the rest of the patients and head back to the diagnostics office to brief the team on what you've learned. So one patient improved, another worsened. What about the other three? One showed slight improvement, the other two had basically no change at all. Strange. And none of your tests have helped narrow down what's causing it? Unfortunately, no. There was one thing I noticed, though. All of them, even Brad, are showing elevated creatine levels. Or creatinine, excuse me. Creatinine accumulation. That would suggest something is affecting their kidney function. Especially because one's jaundice, that makes sense. Interesting, but it doesn't get us any closer to a solve. As far as we know, it's lingering dehydration from their illness. Well, remember, one of them was trying to put on weight. You turn over the possibilities in your mind when your thoughts are interrupted by the beep of your pager, as well as Tobias's and Harper's. Harper checks hers first, eyes widening. Another patient? Oh no, it sounds like he's in bad shape. Minutes later, the three of you arrive at the bedside of your new patient, Thomas Lang. Looking over his chart as his parents look on anxiously. Is he gonna be alright? What are all these tubes attached to him? He's stable, I assure you. That's just a saline drip, but we have some more questions. Has he been in close contact with any of the other members of the wrestling team recently? Particularly the ones that have fallen ill?
No. In fact, he hasn't really been in contact with anyone from school recently.
We actually just got back from a 3-week trip to Iceland. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so we decided to pull the kids out of school. Sounds like quite the trip. Oh, but the coach didn't give him a hard time about missing that many practices.
Thomas is just the team manager, not one of the wrestlers, so it wasn't a problem. Besides, he's been working so hard for the team.
He even made a point to reorganize the entire equipment room before we left, so the team wouldn't be impacted. Can you tell me whether he was showing symptoms before he left?
Nothing I noticed. Honey, did he say anything to you?
No, he didn't. If anything, he seemed more peppy than usual, which is pretty rare for a teenager.
He kept going on about how excited he was to hike the glacier. He even started working out with the team to build up his stamina.
So when did his symptoms start?
It's hard to know precisely. The whole family had a little tummy trouble just after the trip.
I told you fermented shark was not a good idea for our last meal in Iceland.
All the guidebooks said it was traditional.
Sounds like a possible case of food poisoning then. Whatever it was, the rest of us cleared it within 48 hours. But just when we were starting to feel better, Thomas started getting worse. We came in when he started insisting that Petty was lying on his chest. Petey? Who's that?
It's the name of his parakeet, the one who died when Thomas was 12.
We changed where he looks with Tobias and Harper. I'll let you know if we have any more questions. If you think of anything else, please let us know. The other one hallucinated a bird. But that's so long ago. Three step out into the corridor to discuss what you've just learned. Then we have nausea, exhaustion, hallucinations, and the sole case the rest of the family also showed signs of illness. I think it might be worth testing them all. We can't rule out the possibility that Thomas infected them with something before they left for Iceland, or they brought back something. Maybe, but the timing seems off. In fact, if he infected his teammates prior to the trip, why would they suddenly get sick 3 weeks later?
Welcome to 2021, really, fam? Wait, really?
And in the other theory, he's had no contact to infect his teammates since he's been back. Plus, why would Thomas be doing so much worse than the rest of the family if that's the same thing? I don't know. We'll test them regardless, but I have a hunch that they really did have a stomach bug. Which means we're no closer to figuring out the mysterious illness that Thomas and the team have. We're still stuck with the big question. Why is it the only wrestling team and the team manager that are showing any symptoms? None of you have any answers. Yes, you do. Tobias sighs in frustration, running his fingers through his hair. What hair? What would really help is if we could look around the school. There's gotta be something on site that we're missing. It's a good idea, but there's no way I'd be able to go. I have surgery in an hour. I suppose maybe one of you could go? We really need 2 people there to make it worthwhile. You need that second set of eyes and hands to make sure you don't miss anything. But with Casey and I covering Ethan's share of rounds already, there's no way we could both make the time. But we're stuck. Damn it. How are we gonna crack this? Crack what? You turn to see Raph passing by, frowning in concern at your troubled looks. Sorry, I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but it seemed like you guys were dealing with something pretty heavy. Just frustrated, I guess. We need to do an on-site investigation of this case, or for it, but we're spread too thin to spare 2 of us for the job. I mean, I could tag along, if that would help. I'm not a doctor, obviously, so I might not know what to look for, but I'm definitely capable of swabbing for samples, or whatever it is you do on these. That could actually work. Having you there to bounce ideas off might help. Plus, it's not like any of us know what we're looking for either. Casey, this might be our big chance to track this down and at its source. If you want, I can cover some of your cases so you can go. What do you say? Take Raph with you to investigate the high school and finally uncover the cause of this mystery illness. It has to do with the equipment, let's be real. Let's do it! Are you seriously wearing hospital scrubs to this? Never thought I'd be lucky enough to spend my my break playing a Scooby-Doo. Fair warning, there's way less running through all the doors and a weirdly long hallway involved. Oh, in that case, I rescind my offer. Nope, too late for that. We need you too much. Good luck, and remember, leave no stone unturned. You and Raph arrive at the high school and make a beeline for the gym. So, how can I help? I'm here to be useful. I'm just not sure how. Honestly, this isn't exactly something they covered in med school. This is only something they covered in-house. Just look for anything that might be, seem out of place, or anything that might obviously cause a disease. Got him. So keep an eye out on the water cooler with a chunk of plutonium floating inside of it. See, you're a natural. Now let's see if the coach can't help us out a little. You quickly find the boy's coach, who's yelling at 2 wrestlers on the mat. But you already replace him. Johnson, push back! No tapping out! Reverse! Reverse! Excuse me, Coach Kingston? You're the coach for the wrestling team, correct? That's me. Have we met? I'm Dr. Casey Valentine, one of the physicians treating your team. This is my associate, Rafael Aviero. You're the one treating the boys. Can you hurry it up a bit? I need them all in fighting form for the match in 2 days. Coach Kingston. Frankly, that depends on you. Excuse me? Something connected to the team is making them sick. It's the only explanation for the concentrated illnesses. The more information you give us, the better chances that we are to get your team better soon. No chance this is gonna go away on its own, huh? Doubtful. Some of them are doing better, but others are doing worse, and we still have no idea why. What the hell are you doing over there in the hospital, huh? Blinking, you almost retort, but Raph steps in to smooth things over. Keeping them healthy, but if they're going to get back to 100%, we need more information to make a solid diagnosis. Coach grumbles a little, but seems somewhat mollified. I don't know what you expect me to tell you. I'm a wrestling coach, not a doctor. Still, we're hoping you might know what they could have been exposed to that could have gotten them sick. And you think it might be here? We think so, yes. It's the only logical reason your team would be getting sick and the other students wouldn't. I need to know, what's their diet like? Were you pushing performance-enhancing drugs? Oh, man. About the team members who didn't get sick. He ain't gonna answer performance-enhancing. Come on, let's be real. What's their diet like? Several of the patients reported nausea. Thomas seemed to have full-on food poisoning. Or maybe something gastroenterological we missed. Well, try to get them to eat clean, but you know, they're teenagers. They're bound to get into junk food from time to time. I only start cracking the whip on that kind of thing when the week before a meet, so they can make weight. Then it's eat less, no salt, pound water to drop a couple pounds. So you had them on a diet before they started getting sick. They mentioned a match coming up. Sure did, but it's never caused problems before. Is there anything unique to the team? Do they use a gym that no one else uses, or a different locker room? Haha, if only the school gave them that much consideration. All the teams share the same gym, same locker room. On Tuesdays, they're pretty much shoulder to shoulder with the indoor track team. No one on the track team seems to have gotten sick so far, so I'm guessing the problem can't be in the gym or the locker room. Coach shakes his head and looks thoughtful at something that occurs to him. I mean, I suppose you might take a look in the equipment storage room. Wrestling needs a lot of specialized gear and mats. See? Locum's right again. Of course, it's a closet compared to what they give the football team, but at least they're not forcing us to share with the gymnastics anymore. He hands you the key and waves in the direction of the door along the wall to the gym. You and Raph head out over together and open the door. Find a tight, airless, one of your major problems, room packed to the gills with equipment. Something in the air hits you as soon as you step across the threshold. Does it smell musty in here to you? Definitely, like great-grandma's attic or something. Go squeeze into this tight space, looking at the various boxes piled high and heavy equipment on the ground. Looks like having an extra set of muscles around is going to come in handy, huh? What do you want to take a look at first? Let's start with the box labeled headgear. Coming right up. Straining, he pulls the box off the top shelf and lowers it down carefully onto the ground, pulling open the flaps to reveal a tangled mess of wrestling headgear. You want me to model, or...? Yes, but I can't pretend it's for science. Grinning, he bends to pull out a piece of headgear, then frowns. Whoa, someone put a ton of mothballs in there. Are you sure? Why would headgear need mothballs? Because that wonderful musty smell, what do you think? No idea, but that's definitely the only thing that makes that smell. Look for yourself. He does the box towards you, and you see various padded headsets virtually swimming in a sea of mothballs. Okay, does headgear even attract moths? Beats me. I'd have thought that the uniforms would be more of a target. Unison. You both look at the stacked Tupperware bins labeled uniforms. Well, aren't you here as the muscles? Oh, is that a lamb to you? No, but right now it's a really great bonus. Grinning, he tucks the box free, setting it on the floor between you. You pull out a stack of uniforms. Mothballs are tucked between every single layer. Yeesh. And that's just one bin. So the chemical and mothballs, yeah. Now that you know what to look for, you can see them everywhere, scattered over the floor, in the corners, on the boxes, and even in... Oh my god. Are they in the water cooler? What good can that possibly do? Raise a hand in your mouth, the smell starting to overwhelm you. I'm getting a headache. Let's get some fresh air. I think we learned everything we need to. They're even in the water thing. Man, this dude is an idiot. You merge into... You'd be better off to take some Febreze or Glade. Let's be real right now. Lysol even! Emerging into relatively fresh air of the gymnasium, Coach Kingston glances over at you from where he's watching his team practice. Find anything? Besides the 32 million mothballs, you mean? Oh yeah, that. They smell like hell, but they sure work for keeping those moths away, huh? You're an idiot. Don't you think that's overkill? Hell no! You didn't see the size of the moths we were dealing with. So what? Are you throwing the balls at them? Make sure the jerks knew who was boss. How long have you been storing the equipment this way? Since the season started. The moths got into a ton of uniforms and equipment over the summer, destroyed loads of stuff. The coach, or the school board, made it pretty clear we couldn't replace the equipment again this decade. So you made sure it was absolutely moth-proof? Bingo! Ask my boys. I don't believe in half measures. Oh boy. Sighing, you pinch the bridge of your nose and then turn to Raph. Raph, we need to get back to the hospital. I think I know what's going on here. As soon as you get back, you hurry upstairs and catch Tobias in the hallway. Tobias? Naphthalethine. Okay, I'll smile and nod and assume there's context for this. It's poisoning the team. Naphthalene, you know, the chemical they use in mothballs, their equipment is filled with them. There's no ventilation in there. They even had them in the water cooler. Oh, interesting. They could be ingesting it through the water. Probably. Absorbing it through their skin, too. The headgear, mats, even the uniforms were completely covered in them. Would explain everything. All their symptoms match with the naphthalene poisoning. Or almost all their symptoms. What about Thomas Lang? He's the sickest kid here, and he's been away from that room longer than any of them. Probably food poisoning. That's bugging me, too. And why are the team members all recovering or getting worse differently despite having the same exposure? Because probably some of them drank from Gatorade bottles, some of them didn't. Some of them washed their uniforms, and some of them didn't. A lot of anomalies. Plus, there are also team members who never got sick, despite being exposed to the same equipment room. Doesn't make sense. Besides, if that place was bathed in naphthalene for months, then why are some of them getting sick now? As the two of you were talking, Jade passes by you in the hallway, glancing over her charts. But as you ask your question, she suddenly whirls around. Oh wait, I know this one. It's the persistent organic pollutants issue. Excuse me? I was just reading about this the other day. Certain compounds get stored in fat cells. And... Wah, wah, wah. How did you as a doctor not know this? Seriously? She trails off at your surprised looks and shrinks a little. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just got excited because I read the article recently and, you probably already read it. You definitely are alone in that. Tell us more about the research. You were saying that the cells store certain compounds for how long? They can literally store them for indefinitely. For literally your entire life. Unless you literally burn the fat cells, which then release the chemicals into your body. Yeah. Well, depends on the compound. Some stay stored for much, much longer than others. It's kind of like the old Twinkie thing, where you talk about rigor mortis and how literally the same chemical put in a Twinkie can be used to keep and preserve a body. Yeah. Then fat cells break down the stored compounds or release them in the body, even if the exposure or buildup happens ages ago. Jade? I've heard about this. I remember studying or reading a case study about a patient lost in the woods. He was found nearly dead. They thought it was starvation. I know that case. He rapidly lost weight. The cells released orgochlorine pesticides he had absorbed from his workplace. And naphthalene would behave similarly? Oh, absolutely. Naphthalene can stay in cells for years. It's actually really interesting. There was this one study where... Oh god, the geeks are multiplying. Gesticulating in excitement as she speaks, Jade turns to her right, only to notice Jackie watching her from a few feet away. Oh, I didn't. What I mean is... Sorry, Jackie, I'll get back to my patients. Jackie regards her quietly for a long moment, and then sighs. You will for now, but from here on out, I'm going to see if we can't work a little more research into your day-to-day routine. Wait, are you serious? Like in the lab? Assuming I can swing it, yeah, after all, it's clearly where you're meant to end up. I bet Elijah would be thrilled to have you on board. Hey, Elijah could maybe get a girlfriend. Hey, Elijah, wink wink, nudge nudge. Oh my god, I was reading all the results his team's been getting. I can't believe I could. Suddenly a cloud passes over her face. But is this just because I'm not catching on fast enough? I know I'm struggling with some of the patients, but I just need to try harder, like you did, right? Jade, you're gonna be an incredible doctor, you already are, but the best doctor you can be isn't gonna be a bedside like me. I'm sorry it took so long for me to see that. Especially since people I trust very much were working hard to open my eyes to that fact. You're welcome. She smiles, sadly at you. You got there in the end. That's all that matters. Jade blinks, almost unable to believe what she's hearing. Her eyes well up with happiness. Oh my god, thank you. I was so worried I let you down, but this is like a dream come true. Impulsively, she throws her arms around Jackie in a hug, laughing. Jackie pats her back and releases her. Tell you what, why don't we get a couple of lattes to celebrate your new research direction? That would be great. In fact, I can tell you all about the study I just read. It's actually really fascinating. Jackie, before you go, ask Jade about persistent organic pollutants. Oh yes, I was telling them about fat cells can store certain compounds for months or years, and they get released as... Right. Hey, yeah, you enjoy that. Jackie nods politely and then looks back at you to mouth, "You owe me," with a teasing grin. "I don't know you shit." Once they're gone, you turn back to Tobias. That's gotta be it. The fat cell storage explains everything. Brett mentioned their first tournament, how the team was been trying to drop a couple pounds fast to make their weight class. Meaning crash dieting, suddenly break down a ton of fat cells. It even explains why some were getting better and others were getting worse. Brett was eating constantly, but Miguel was too nauseous to touch his food, so he was losing more weight. Getting pumped full of even more of it. Thomas's food poisoning would have jump-started it for him, and he probably had more exposure than any of them organizing the equipment room. It all makes sense. Damn, that's a hell of a solve. Not too shabby for a team that's down one. Start them all on a course of methylene blue and ascorbic acid. They should start feeling better in no time. On it. Just as soon as I call the coach and let him know how incredibly effective cedar planks can be for keeping moths away. Congratulations, Pixelberry, you stated something factual. I love the smell of cedar, too. Oh, it's so beautiful. You get home that evening still flushed with victory and pride over the tough solve. Your mood only improves as you're greeted by some happy, furry roommates by the door, dashing and skittering between your ankles. You never, I guess, screw the turtle. Alright, you two, calm down. And yes, I'm happy too. As they continue to rub against your ankles affectionately, you drop to your knees on the table and make a special point to pat Crush's head. Poor little guy, that's all he ever gets. At least give the little bugger a, piece of lettuce or something. Thanks, you three. It's definitely been a good day. Stomach growling, you head to the kitchen to grab a bite to eat when... Ah, Casey, hang on. I have to... Oh no, the cookies are... Just wait a second. You blink as Sienna whirlwind moves around the kitchen, leaving a flurry of flour in her wake. Several books lay on the open counter, or on the counter open. You take a look and... Sienna, are those recipes, books, and medical textbooks? Boards are only 1 week away, Casey. We have to spend every single minute studying.
Maybe you do.
And baking helps me focus, but now I'm not sure which book I was reading. Hey, Sienna, calm down. Deep breaths. Focus on one thing at a time. Multitasking doesn't really work, okay? Well, not for you. Just worry about one thing first and deal with the others later. You're right, I should just drop baking and focus on studying, huh? Well, I didn't say that. Cookies are pretty important after all. I guess I could just focus on baking for now and then do some studying when everything's in the oven. There are problem-solving skills I know and love. They'll come in handy for a practical part of the exam. Sienna takes some deep breaths. Elijah, Aurora, and Jackie come into the kitchen as well. Whatever's baking, it smells delish. What you're smelling is the results of Sienna's boards-inducing panic baking. Stress, cramming, and cinnamon, the perfect perfume. And is that coffee? Oh, I could go for some right now. Obviously, I figure I can keep studying until 4, maybe 5 if I space my caffeine out right. Sienna, you'll burn yourself out that way. We still need to get a good night's sleep. That's my plan. Though I'd push back bedtime for warm cookies, I'm diligent that way. On that note, I'll be in my bedroom. You are all distracting, but feel free to make deliveries. Everyone splits off to start cracking the books. She's not wrong. Maybe the right kind of motivation will help me study, but what would be the most motivating? I wonder. Enjoy a study session with striptease benefits to get a serious leg up on the board exams. And that special someone. What? Okay, can someone explain this to me? Okay, so I feel motivated by Sienna's cookies, a striptease from Bryce, or one from Jackie. What? What is happening right now? Where is Ethan? What? Pixelberry? I know all the ladies right now watching want this, so... Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section below, because, you know, your input actually helps me make choices that everyone, hopefully, will enjoy watching. Think about that. Helps to comment. Bye. Smiling to yourself, you pull out your phone and fire off a text to Bryce. Hey, Bryce, you free this evening? For you, always. I need study for my board exams. I think you can give me proper motivation. What did you have in mind? A little study session with competitive benefits, stripping benefits, perhaps? I'll be there in 10. 5 if I run fast. Run, boy, run, coming to get you. Sure enough, Bryce arrives with almost lightning-fast speed, grinning in excitement as you usher him into your room. Okay, so I worked out how we do this. You get questions right, I take my clothes off. You get them wrong, you take yours off. Deal? What? Not even a hello or a, hey, Casey, how's it going? Just straight to getting naked, huh? When you look as good as you do, and I do, you want to get naked as much as possible. Which, I mean, I have faith in your skill, Casey. Your self-sacrifice is noted. So, what are the rules again? What? Simple. I read out a question to you. You pick an answer. If you get it right, then I take my clothes off. The way I said that. But if you get it wrong, then you take it off. I think I can get behind that. But you should know, you're going to be getting pretty chilly. Love the confidence. I'll love it even more if you're wrong. Grinning, you sit on the bed while Bryce sits at your desk, opening one of your medical textbooks. Let's start off with an easy one. Which test will be higher for a patient with advanced emphysema? Emphysema, that's a lung disease. It makes it harder to breathe. A emphysema patient would slowly or show increased lung capacity, residual air volume, airflow. This one's a good one. So I don't know much about emphysema. But lung capacity, anybody with a lung disease typically doesn't have increased lung capacity. Increased airflow? I doubt. Residual air volume. Emphysema traps air in the lungs and leaves them inflated. Even when you breathe out, residual air volume, final answer.
That is 100% correct. Either you know this stuff or the promise of my sexy body is just the incentive you need.
A little of column A, little of B, really, and on the note, take your shirt off.
Technically, he has 2 shirts. Nope, rules are I take off an article. Not an article of your choosing, and lucky for you, I know how to build suspense.
And before he takes off a shoe. Working, he instead goes for his belt, unbuckling it slowly and carefully, holding eye contact the entire time. With a performer's instincts, he teases the belt, tugging it slowly while grinning at you, and before finally pulling it clear.
Next question. The male patient just returned from Papua New Guinea, complaining of fever and tiredness consistent with malaria. Sure enough, his blood tests show malarial in parasite Plasmodium vivax. Would you prescribe fluoroxyquin or dioxycycline?
Good question. Both of them are pretty effective against malaria, but dioxycycline can cause an upset stomach and sun sensitivity. Based on that, I'd prescribe the... I love how Pixelberry didn't give us a choice here.
Well, your argument certainly makes sense, but I'm afraid that's still wrong.
What? Why? Fluoroxyquin has been used effectively for years.
Yes, but there are now several strains of Plasmodium that are resistant to it. Like, say, Papua New Guinea.
Oh, damn it, you're right. I didn't consider the specific location.
Ah, and now you must pay the devastatingly sexy price. And before you try to get away with removing a single sock, it is supposed to be to motivate you. I suggest you put something on the line.
So in other words, you're saying I should get rid of either my top or my pants.
I'd also accept underwear, but that'd be a bit hard without doing top or pants first.
Well, that'll see you later, pants. Winking your price, you trail your hands down to the waistband of your pants, slipping your thumbs underneath them. These are so tight. I feel much better with them off, I think. Rice licks his lips as he smiles, and you feel a little shiver at the look in his eyes.
Absolutely. It helps to be comfortable while you're studying, after all.
He trails off as you gently sway your hips a little.
A light sensual shift that makes his eyes widen. Making sure he's watching you, you slowly unbutton the top of your pants, gently pushing them open to his gaze. Keep going.
Smiling, you unzip them all the way, a long, careful motion that keeps you waiting in here. Grabbing the fabric, you shimmy your hips again as you push your pants down, shaking yourself as they slip down your body. There we go. Much better. He smiles as you let the pants drop to the floor, stepping out of the pooled fabric with a confident, hungry stance.
Lacy panties. It's like you knew I was coming over.
What can I say? I figured they might be on display eventually.
You need to have more faith in yourself, Casey. You might have gotten every question right.
Yeah, but Pixelberry, took it away from us. Well, not this one, but I have to say I'm not feeling too upset about it. You sway your hips again as you to punctuate your comment, and look in Bryce's eyes as his gaze roams over your lower body and makes something in you clench.
Next question. An 18-year-old cisgendered woman presents with no previous menstruation. What secondary trait might support a diagnosis of Turner syndrome? Excess hair or short stature?
For Turners, shortness for sure. Excess hair isn't always connected to Turners. Correct, it would be based on the treatment they received. Rather than answer you in words, Bryce puts down the book and in a single graceful motion pulls his shirt off. You suck in a breath as his tan, muscled chest is exposed to your gaze, inviting your eyes to travel over the lines of his defined abs. Oh, Bryce, this is getting harder by the minute. Aha, in more ways than one.
Glad I'm not alone there.
Alright, now I know you're trying to distract me.
Believe me, I take my role as a study buddy very seriously, no matter what I have to fight through to do so. And then no next question.
He begins reading at a question, but it's hard to follow. What, with that perfect, touchable, bare chest right at eye level? It's so hard to focus on the question when all you can think about is running your fingertips down over...
Casey, did you hear the question?
What? Not at all. Could you repeat it, please?
An elderly patient complains of progressive weakness in his arms and legs. His joint tests as normal with no pain, but you notice a rash on his knuckles. For the full Monty, what's the diagnosis?
Arthritis usually shows up in the joints, regardless of the type. Skin rash has to be important. My guess would be dermatiosis, Machianis gravis, rheumatoid arthritis. The rash, though. I want to lean hard on number 1, not number 2. Rheumatoid arthritis is number 3. I'll go with something that says typical, but it might be number 1. I could be wrong. Rheumatoid arthritis can cause rashes on the knuckles and hands. It could easily cause weakness of limbs as well.
True, but it almost always causes joint pain, doesn't it?
Oh crap, you're right. You mentioned specifically that joints tested as normal.
Yeah, the answer was, God damn it, I was right! But I went with the wrong answer.
Welcome to my playthroughs.
Makes sense. Dermal. Usually means the skin's involved. Good guess, though.
I'll get the next one right for sure. After I take something off. Man, is it hot in here or is it just me? Laughing at Bryce's eager grin, you pull off your shirt and toss it onto the corner, exposing your chest to his appreciative gaze. He sucks in a breath as he takes you in exposed, save for your underwear.
I hope you know that you're amazing in every way, and that you don't mind getting a question or two wrong.
And trust me, keep looking at me like that and I'll be happy to get every question wrong in the book.
Alright, next question.
Whatever he says next, you completely miss. Hover your eyes, raking over his body in a dreamlike state until he snaps his fingers.
Hello, Earth to Dr. Valentine. We're studying here.
Yeah, sorry. You're just, very distracting.
You know, sometimes the brain works better after a little break.
Here we go. No one can focus forever, after all.
We should probably give your brain a rest.
He smiles, but you can feel the heat behind it, and you know you could unleash it with a word. Well, obviously I'm up for... talk about the ultimate bait. Grabbing some cookies! I can smell Scannon's baking, and I bet it's done by now.
Seriously, you asked me for strip studying, and you want to break for cookies?
Welcome to Jesus. Believe it or not, the point was studying, not the show. So, you gonna put on a shirt, or...?
What, and deprive your friends of this glory that is my body? Perish the thought.
The two of you emerge to find Aurora and Elijah sitting at the kitchen table, a heaping plate of Sienna's warm cookies between them. Elijah is no-deep in his book, but Aurora glances up as the two of you come out. The elegant eyebrow she raises speaks volumes. Sorry to interrupt. We just thought we smelled Sienna's cookies out here. Yep, she just finished them about 10 minutes ago. She's gone back to her room with her textbooks to... What the hell were you two doing in there? Does it matter? MYOB, fam!
gapes at your undressed state, but Bryce nonchalantly grabs a cookie and sticks it in his mouth. Stunning. What do you think we were doing? Elijah blinks in confusion while Aurora very deliberately turns her attention back to her textbook. I think if you have to experience this much of Bryce, you should start paying rent. I know it's an unconventional study technique, but trust me, it's helping. Anyway, we'll just grab our cookies and get back to it. Whatever it might be. Laughing, you grab a handful of cookies, as does Bryce. You head back into your bedroom, aware of Elijah's bewildered gaze on you both. Alright, now that we've had a break, I think it's time to get serious about studying. Are you suggesting I wasn't being serious before? Oh, very serious. But if we keep going, things are gonna get really, really distracting. Laughing, you grab your book and mock pout. Fine, let's compromise. I won't ask you to take off anything more as long as you don't put anything back on. Now that is a deal I will very happily make. Smiling coyly over the top of your book, you turn your attention back to studying. Hyper-aware, Bryce's warm smile and the twinkle of promise in his eye. Several days later, you wake up with the dawn before your alarm, body thrumming with anxiety. Oh god, today is the day. The day of your board exams is finally here. This could vault you to the next level. Or, you know, cause your life to fail. But if I fail, it could mean the end of my time at Edenbrook, or as a doctor at all. The board exams are here. Do you have what it takes? Keep playing to find out. Alright. And hopefully you all were entertained. Thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Head down to the description below. Links to social media, Discord, and if you'd like to support me and my content. I swear Open Heart is the only book they actually put any, like, detail and oomph into anymore. Literally all the rest of the books are, Literally and figuratively, they're just, Once again, thanks for watching. Peace out.